Ready? Aim!
There's too many!
Anyone see my mammoth?
Stubby! Hello! We are back again. I am back again. This man is not back again. This is the first time we've had this man on the show, I believe. This is the infamous Mikel. If people don't know who Mikel is, it's kind of obvious. If you don't know who Mikel is, you go to this page here, you scroll down a little bit, and you see him just rated there. Okay? So don't you worry if you don't know who he is. You should do. We've talked about him enough. So anyway, Mikel, how are you doing today?
Yeah, fine. Thanks. Hi, everyone. How are you?
I'm sure they're fine. I know I'm doing fine. We'll see how people respond in due course. All right then. So first of all, I wanted to invite you on for various different reasons. Firstly, we didn't invite you on after you came. Was it second at Spanish Nationals in September last year? Is that right?
Yeah. Spanish national.
Yeah. Losing to La Fuente in the penultimate round, who then went on to win the event, I think.
Yeah. He won with Nightwatch. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously, congratulations for coming second. But also not just that. I mean, it's the fact that you're competing with Free Folk and Night's Watch at the top there, and you're doing it at Greyjoys, which a lot of people can't do. So that's the big thing. I have many questions for you, including, I'm sure, many people in chat will have questions for you. Paul says, "What a handsome man." There's the first comment of today. Is they think you look incredibly great. So there you go.
She's talking about you, not about me. So.
No, not me. Mate, I look like a hobo who's just been let inside. So, all right. Yes. Okay. So, my first question to you, Mikel, is why on earth do you play Greyjoys?
That's a good question. I started with Lannister.
Mm-hmm.
I have a physical Lannister faction, and it was like the end of 1.6 when I joined. Mm-hmm. 1.6 more or less in 2020, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the end of Stars kind of thing.
Yeah. So I was sighted with Flame on Visions on Flame. It was what they were doing the spoilers, and they announced the new faction, which was Greyjoy. I didn't kind of like so much, but it was new, and I wanted to try something that nobody had. So when they come up, I just ordered it. I think it was on Singapore. I got it from Singapore. The day I could got it, and I started to play. I lost so many games when I started to play, so many, but it was terrible defeats. But then I started to realize how do you have to play Greyjoys and just into the meta. So, and I think they are really fun. They are one of the funniest factions to play. They have a high skill sailing. I mean, you need to know really well what you are going to do, because this faction is not like, for example, Nightwatch, that you can make a big mistake and you can maybe solve it later on via deck or some combos. But in Greyjoys, if you make a big mistake, I think you are done for it.
Yeah. So
that's the challenge to play this faction. It was what I was looking for. So I stick with Greyjoy till now. I played some Lannister. I played Lannister in LGT because some TOs didn't allow me to play my full potential. So that's it. I mean, nothing I can do about that. But
this poor box here.
I could play it on the Invitational. I was the next to Free Folk, so that was a good result at the end of the day. Yeah, that box. Yeah.
And you beat some free folk getting to, was it fifth in the end, wasn't it? After the top four.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fifth. So you only lost one game, dropping second round, was it, to free folk? But then winning the rest out.
To Suavek. I
Suavek,
lost Suavek in Winds of Winter.
Mhm.
I think it was, yeah. So Winter.
Which is, again, like we're talking, you're playing into Mance, which is the best thing in the game, especially at this point in the kind of history of the game. It is the best thing with Varamir, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, so coming fifth in that event after the four free folk players, I think is solid. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, people probably heard me on chat, and I know Mikel actually knows. But I've been diving my toe into Greyjoys, and his statement originally about them being fun to play, I think, is actually very true. I think the game is fun, but I think Greyjoys in particular are very fun to play, because when things work, it I don't know, it just feels satisfying. There's something very satisfying having a unit survive on a couple of wounds, and then you just keep healing it a little bit, and it never quite dies. Yeah.
I got you, and then heal 8 wounds and go back to 10 wounds, and people is like, okay.
Yeah. It's
like I call the Greyjoys like the undead faction of Warhammer, for example.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to use the Greyjoy mechanics as the new Whitewater faction? Then is that your? Yeah. Maybe. All right. So, yeah, Greyjoys are fun to play. I mean, I personally, I think free folk are fun to play. I know that's difficult at the moment. Are there any other factions? So you obviously played Lannisters, and I am going to jump to your profile. Why not? You've played neutrals, and played all the neutral stuff. You played all the Stark stuff, and Targaryens of all things. God. Now we'll get onto Targaryens in a minute, but Lannisters and Starks, base 2 factions. Do you prefer Lannisters or prefer Starks? There's a question.
Lannisters.
Lannisters. Okay.
I think Lannister have more tricks and more things to play around and to maybe catch up your opponent. I like to catch up people of guards, and I think Lannisters, it's their theme, right? To play and to trick them. I mean, the worst Lannister, because we have now the better Lannister, so
yes,
it's different.
Yeah. I know that you're a relatively big fan of Kevin. Which we had the pleasure of playing in a matchup at LGT, right? So,
yeah, I mean, it's the best commander Lannister can get right now, in my opinion. So, I'm not a huge fan of Adam, which I think people were just losing their minds about Adam Warrior Sons, but I think I don't want to blame anyone or to make someone feel bad, but I think Warrior Sons, Adam, it's a noob trap. I mean, you lost against Adam, so I think you are a noob right now.
Yeah. I mean, 100%, right? I lost against Adam because I'm bad. I made some absolute. I mean, I've said it before. I made some critical mistakes in that game that are like just terrible.
Yeah.
And
you were like, your face was like a poem.
Yeah. And then
you see your hand right there. You were like, oh my god, how could I do that?
But I put it like this, right? I learned a lot from that game. Kind of ironically, I learned a lot from losing, but it was the like sitting there and looking at my mistakes, thinking what mistakes were made, and even then, like the opportunity to learn and adapt from that was quite useful. Okay, cool. So the next thing I was going to ask you is Martells. There obviously been quite a few bit Martells online. I've started to dip into Martells, playing a lot more Martells myself. What are your initial thoughts?
They are amazing.
that was.
They are amazing, and they naturally counter Nightwatch and Greyjoys so much. That's why I'm salty. I am really salty about them. Not gonna lie. I don't hate to play against them, but when I play against them, I have a feeling that if they got the cards on point, not much I can do. It's my point of view.
Okay. That's interesting.
Especially with rising temperatures.
Yeah, right. I mean, rising temperatures is, having played the faction now, and I'm sure you have experienced it as well. It is very good at shutting down certain things. Commanders, certain card play, certain just units in general, which rely on attachments or whatever it might be. You can just shut things down so heavily.
Yep.
It's
Starting at round 2, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
You cannot play tactic cards, and Greyjoy cards and Nightwatch card are almost all of them to play on your friendly unit. So
yeah,
you're not going to play anything there.
Yeah, and it just takes the wind out of your sails, right? Which sucks in the early game. All right then. Yeah. So Martel's looking strong. We're going to look at some data in a minute of Martel's, because I think Carla put the December data up. I'll have to double check. But last and not least, you've played some Targaryens. Now, you didn't say Targs were fun to play, Mikel.
I mean, Targaryen is difficult, right? You have the clear choice on Drogo if you want to be competitive.
Yep.
That's 100% true. I mean, that's facts. You cannot deny that.
Agreed.
But the other commanders, they lack, I think I will call personality.
Oh, okay.
Personality, because Targaryen deck is made for cavalry most of the time. And if you want to change your playstyle, I think Marcellen now adds something new to Targaryen. But if the other commanders are so average, I'm not gonna say bad. Well, I mean, I think Barristan is really bad. Jorah has some plays, but the problem that it is you have a 3-point solo Jorah, which is really good. You have Belwas, which is a meme. Queen of Meereen, it's playable.
Yeah.
And when Mother of Dragon was slayed, murdered completely, you cannot do anything about that. But I think everybody agrees that it's better to be trustier than to be overpowered. That how she was last edition. And I'm missing the new commander, Sakak, though. I don't know the name exactly.
Sakak Mo Kandak, right? Or something like that. Yeah.
It's like kind of discount Rus.
Discount Rus, great.
For the cards, they are bad versions of good cards. And it's still infantry. And missing anyone, not much, but I think the dark deck it's highs and downs. You know, if you got a good overrun, it's GG, well played. If you had 2 overruns in your starting hand, good luck to you. You have to discard them. I think, and they lack sustain. Yeah.
Illyrio is a very good sustained piece, but he just doesn't matter.
Yeah, Illyrio is amazing. But it's like always, you have to claim a zone, you have to replace the zone. You need, if you want the full potential, you need to be engaged. Your infantry is really good. I think swordsmen and pikemen are really good, but they are 7 points. And you have Stormcloaks to help them, but I mean, Stormcloaks are a fine piece, but if you start to list building with Targaryen, at the end of the day, it's almost the same for everyone. And if you play Drogo, you are playing Flamemen, Blood Riders, bets, and that's your list.
Yeah, there's variations on it. We see with like Stormcrow in Merc, the Unsullied Officer in Mercs, things like that to get. But they're all the same list, just different variations, right? You mentioned it earlier, but Jorah as well, 3-point is really good. And actually, this is actually kind of one of the things that I really wanted to highlight on, because you didn't say Targ were fun, right? And winning is, for players like ourselves, winning is fun. But there is a significant difference in playing a faction and enjoying playing the faction even when you lose. And I'll be honest, Targs, I really hate Targs even when I'm doing like okay. I just feel like I feel like I'm looking at this game and I'm like, I am doing a lot of what I would consider good things, and it still feels like this is hard, and it shouldn't be this hard. And yeah, ironically, for a faction that I feel it should be rewarding to play, it doesn't feel rewarding. Like,
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I saw some games you play with Targaryens, testing the new commands, and the games were so close, and you were like 1 unit left with 4 wounds in Honor and ready and trying to do things, but you had no cards, nothing to do, and you were like, okay, I can do anything.
Yeah. And that, partially that's through perhaps early mistakes or misplays on myself, but it just constantly feels like it generates feelings like that, which just sucks. All right then. So, anyway, Greyjoys. Going back to Greyjoys, your main faction, the faction you've probably played far too many games of. Do you know how many games of Greyjoys you've played?
This graph, I think I have 460 games, more or less.
444,
400,
exactly.
right? Yeah. It's like we were talking about the other day. It's almost 1 game per day, more or less, or 0.8, 0.9.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had played 300, more or less.
So
maybe
probably about 3
more.
quarters, give or take.
Yeah, around 300 games.
That's a lot of Greyjoys.
I can tell you that I know Greyjoy a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. So, jumping straight into that, then, Greyjoys a little bit. I want to know, and I kind of like, I know where this is probably going to go anyway, but I think it would be really good if you shared your kind of like list building philosophy and how you think about Greyjoys, because although if people haven't seen, I know you comment quite a lot on the Discord about this sometimes, but you've never really openly talked about it, as far as I'm aware, on any kind of like public like information, right? You've never done a faction overview or anything like that with any of the other creators out there. So one of the things I would like you to talk about briefly is kind of like how you think about list building with Greyjoys, and why you think, like, I know what you're going to say is probably going to be your first 13 points in a list, pretty much. But I'd like to know why you think that that's so important.
Okay, so I mean, it depends always on your meta, right? The local metas. If you don't play in TTS or internationally, it's always the list building. It's always about your meta, right? But more or less, Greyjoy list building. It's funny. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, it's fun.
It is.
Because
I enjoy it.
You have not that many units to choose, but it's fun because the things that works. I mean, more or less all the units are playable, but at the end of the day, it depends on how competitive you are. But if you want to make a competitive Greyjoy list, you should always take at least 1 or 2 Greyjoy bowmen. I don't think I need to explain why they are the best unit in Greyjoys. They are long range, 4 points, and that's enough. They could be like 6 armor, 10 plus morale, and you will still play. You will be still be playing them. Mm-hmm. And they can give pillage, and which is a mechanic that I hate. I have said several times. I like the design, but I hate the execution and the meaning of having pillage, because I think pillage is not helping you to snowball, neither to come back.
So it's actually really interesting you mentioned that, because we'll get onto it in a minute, no doubt. Anyway, but Silence Men, at 7 points, are probably the only real unit that are worth putting pillage on most of the time, like because they do snowball a little bit, right?
Because you have a double effect on each pillage. You know, you are giving more punch to those pillage. -1 to suffering wounds from failing panic tech, and -1 to moral check. Everyone in short range. That's worth a point. So if you have 2 pillages, you are paying those 2 points. So I think they are like 6-point infantry unit, stat-wise, more or less.
Yeah.
So if you add those 2 pillages, at the end of the day, you are like having an 8-point infantry, more or less. So they are really fragile, but you have tools to make them rolling and not dying. But I think that's the only pillage ability that it's worth to mention. I don't think the other units that have pillage, they are much of a threat, or you don't care if you have 1 pillage or 2. Well, I mean, Iron Makers, Reapers, the meme, your favorite unit.
They are.
Yeah. It was. Let's go back to this build. 1 or 2 comment. You don't even need to use the divide the spoil. It's called divide the spoil. You can play without a unit with pillage, and you will be still playing bowman. That's the fun thing. And they are your finger dance recipient, right? Your finger dance units. Because you can use finger dance on any attack, so long range attacks works with finger dance, and it's your best play. Because to be fair, that's a card that I would love to be changed a little bit, because if you are going to put me up vulnerable, at least you have to be more ranked than me, so that will make me play more finger dance on melee units, right?
Yes, yeah. Because
I think that would not be so good, or I mean, change a little bit the mechanic of that card, because everybody hates finger dance on bowmen. And I would like to play more with melee units finger dance, but most of the time I'm getting wrecked by my own card, so that's gonna happen.
It seems, for me, I think you hit the nail on the head there, really, in that it seems a card almost designed for the bowman and not for melee infantry, which just seems stupid, because you want to play it on the melee infantry as well. But like, it's a card that you play on your unit, and sure, you get to control where that vulnerable token's going to go, because it's who you attack. Whereas when I'm attacking you, I don't control it, right? It has to be on that unit. But like, it's not a different effect. Like, it's the same effect. Like, it's exactly the same requirements.
It's the same, and you are low armor, and if you put a vulnerable token on top of that, it's like you are going to fail everything. I'm sorry, you are not the Baratheon.
Yeah, exactly.
So we talked about bowman, double bowman. That's 8 points. Now you want to take a central piece, which is usually Silent Men, as we talk about. I think Silent Men are your best 7-point unit. Besides Iron Makers and Black Tide Chosen, which I think they are terrible.
Okay, fair enough.
They could be good or really good, but I don't know why they choose to give them those abilities, or why do you take divide spoils on a melee unit on 7 points? That's a 7-point unit. Do you want a 7-point support unit?
It's very odd for me, because you're paying. We could compare this basically with Night's Watch Swarm Brothers, right? It's a 7-point unit.
No, but we should not compare across factions, right?
Oh, right, yeah, sorry, can't. But it's...
Don't do that. Yeah, you can show you can compare them, you can show them, but
the thing is, what you lose Sundering and 1 morale. You lose Sundering and 1 morale to gain Dauntless and divide the spoils.
Which is a lot. 1
Yeah.
point morale is a lot.
Yeah, going 6 to 5 is actually a big break point because now Vicious takes you 8, which is really bad, whereas Vicious making you 7 is still pretty good. This is like, and I know again we can't compare across factions, but this really doesn't compare well when you look at Sworn Brothers. And that's sad.
No.
Right.
Yeah, and Downless, which we can agree it's like half a point worth ability.
Yeah. I'm not going to pay a point for it unless it's got some ridiculous synergy like Rose 90 type things. Even then.
Yeah, maybe Downless Iron Resolve. That's a good 1 point combo, but I mean, more healing for a 7 point unit that it's 4/6, the same stat like a 5 point unit like Sword Bros, or I mean, Martel based unit, it's 4/6 with 6 movement, which I don't know. Don't play like the Chosen. I mean, you can play them, but
I know that
they are not competitive. They are not competitive.
Some people meme a little bit.
The models are awesome. Yeah, the models are awesome. Yeah. That's one the best thing they have. They are really good. So now we'll
stick them in.
We have Silence Man and Double Bowman. That's 8, 15 points. Now you have to decide if you want to play. Normally, I would recommend to reach 8 activations for Greyjoys, and you can reach also 9 with Victarion Relentless. I've been playing in competitive games. I've been playing 9 activations with Victarion Relentless. Been playing Bowman because although you cannot shoot anymore, you have the maneuver and the extra activation to try to get your flanks, and you are getting a screw when you are shooting a flank of the unit with Finger Dance with Bowman. Even it's 6 dice on force rerolls, that's an average of 4.5 hits. But man, with vulnerable and -1 to roll save rolls, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. We talked about Baratheons earlier, but turning even Baratheons down into like 4 ups or 5 ups, and then with rerolls, it's actual damage coming in now, allowing you to hit through to the morale as well, and you're still got the -1 to morale. So pretty happy times.
Yeah, maybe you can put Victarion in a Bowman unit if you want.
Yeah.
So that is 18 points. And now those are the let's talk about MCUs first.
Okay.
Which I am a great follower of Wenda God.
We'll put him in now.
You have to play him with 3 MCUs. I'm also a 3 MCUs enjoyer. You have talked many times about that, but 3 MCUs has more win rate, and that's how the game is played. And if you want to play Greyjoys, I think you need to play 100% Wendamir if you are playing with 3 MCUs, because I think it's our best MCU, and I think it's probably top 3 with now Nymeria and not Nymeria, Elaria. And I don't know which other 4-point MCU it's his level, but I think he's the backbone of Greyjoy. Without him, I don't think I will be doing so much in tournaments and competitions. That's my thoughts about Wendamir. That's why a lot of people
is the best non-neutral.
It's the best. You have looked for it.
Yeah. Peter and Tycho at the top. Tycho we haven't talked about enough, but Tycho going to 5 points clearly wasn't enough to change it. But yeah, Peter, Tycho, then Wendy. Non-neutral NCU. So yeah, you are right. Pretty good.
Top one, baby. I mean, it's so much flexibility. It's your third NCU. I would recommend to play with Wendamir as a third, but let's put you have Baron, which is incredible. 5 points NCU, which make you like a virtual giant. But you can lose him if you fail a panic check. But at the end of the day, if you soak one attack, it's worth it. And you can do it even more, so the value adds up to exponentially levels. And that's 5 points. With Wendamir, that's another 4 points. And you have the third NCU. That is your pivot NCU, that I would say, because sometimes you need a pass token with NCUs, because if you are playing against other 3 NCUs, you need an NCU that make you get something without claiming the zone. So normally you can do Littlefinger, Roderick, or Tristifer. I think those are my 3 options for the last spot.
Now, I know that you're a big proponent of Tristifer. Roderick, I think, is probably, of those 3, Rod, Triss, and Baelish, I think I see you play Roderick the least. And I think you play a lot more Tristifer now than you play Baelish. It tends to be anyway. What's your thought process behind Tristifer?
I think he's a nice tech piece because he has the ability to stop unblock one zone, and the meta is now Free Folk and Nightwatch. Well, the meta was like 3 months ago. Now that we have Martel, it has changed a little bit. But you can stop Tristifer. I play Tristifer because you can stop the Endless Horde with him. If you don't go first, you can. If you go second, you can at least delay to round 2. I think I do it the other way. But yeah, I mean that's a good ability in this meta. And on top of that, you can get like a free Warcry, because let's be honest, if I told you do not pick those 2 zones, or I put you 2 tokens, you say whatever, put me those 2 tokens. So a little bit more to the 4-point NCU really you can make use of them really well. Yeah. And if you are playing with 6 zones, if you are bringing Doran, you can stop Doran as well now with him.
Yes.
At least 1 turn. So if you cannot play Littlefinger or Petir, I think Tristifer should be on your list, at least to try to counter Doran or delay Doran 1 round. Yeah, that's why I think Tristifer, I've been playing more Tristifer than Roderick. I think Roderick is amazing. I think, and I've been talking with my friends, with Mark, if you know Mark Bell, he's Targaryen player, and he will kill for Roderick.
Yeah.
In the Targaryen roster, he would literally kill. He will give me Illyrio for Roderick. That's the card game he wants to play with. Roderick will be so great with Targaryens. And I think almost every faction would kill for Roderick at the end of the day.
Oh, definitely.
Because the ability is insane. That's like a double free mulligan, right, in card games. If you don't like your starting cards, you don't have this mulligan starting, which I think it's okay for the game. You have to play with what you have in your hand. But that would change a lot. I mean, the game would change so much if we had that. And with Roderick, you have this. You have to pay for it. That's true, 4 points, but you have also an NCU. So
yeah,
I think
it's an NCU that doesn't matter, right? It's just take a zone. Who gives a shit?
Pass with him.
Yeah.
You pass with him. It's okay. I'm doing passing with Roderick. You take the zone. You do the zone.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect. It's not the same with Littlefinger because you have to take a zone, but everybody knows how good is Littlefinger.
Yeah.
And with the other one was Tristifer. Yeah, you can also pass with Tristifer.
I think the big one for me as well is that like Roderick is a classic piece that you would never switch off as well. Like obviously you got Baron, you're switching off Baron, you're switching off Wendermere potentially as well with things like Intrigue or Elena. You would never switch off this ability because it's just not that good an ability to switch off, while also being an ability that is actually very good still. It's always not good enough, but that doesn't mean it's not strong. So yeah, I love it. Yeah, Roderick, I like Wender. I like Wendergod, but Roderick is probably my second favorite NCU in the set. So,
I mean, we don't have that much choice, right? We have Eric, which was useful at the beginning because we have no NCUs.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like we said, Pillage is not the best mechanic, or it's not something you want to invest. Asha Queen, Woodwick Queen, it's a joke. I talk with you that I think she's one of the worst 4-point NCUs in the game. My God, what have they done? What have they done to her?
I really struggle with Asha because the comparison that I made with Asha, and I think we vaguely talked about it, I think, but it's if you compare, and again I know cross faction comparisons are bad, but like you look at Asha, and then you look at Lyanna Stark, Lyanna Mormont even now, and it's like you just get +1 morale, and it's like Asha's like, no, you might get +1 morale, you might get 2 morale, and you might take -1 wound, and then Stark's like, oh yeah, if you lose a unit, you get crit blow. Oh, you lose more units, you can't fail panic tests anymore. Like what?
Oh my God! And you are losing Asha.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Yeah.
Which is the best 1-point attachment in the faction and one of the best in the game. So
yeah,
it's like, do you want me to use her? Okay, give me something. But no, you are giving me multiple versions of Asha, which is okay. You can balance around that, but he is so bad. Yeah. I mean, it's. And Eric and another bad NCU, which is Iron.
Yes, yeah. Aaron always feels super impactful in the very early game when you've got like bowman trading and stuff like that. And then when anything starts to kick off, he's useless. He does nothing.
You can heal at the end of the game 6-7 wounds.
Yeah.
With being really lucky, and first of all, it's an influence. You are competing with other influence, which you cannot beat Baron.
No.
You heal only one wound. Doesn't care about your ranks or whatever you are. And when you kill a unit, you heal off of your ranks. Yeah. Not one plus your missing run. So and killing a unit sometimes is really hard. So it's not. I mean, it's playable, but you have so many good choices that you should not pick him at all.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have Greyjoy hero box too.
Yeah. That's
like him.
Yeah.
Balon, which I've been talking with people that they love Balon, but if you are a competitive player, you know that's first of all 5 points. You are paying 5 points. Yes, you bring back that unit, but that unit needs a zone, and when it comes back, it's activated.
Yes.
You lose so much tempo, and it's really easy to know when you are going to do that.
Yeah.
And if you are paying 5 points to bring back a unit that it's dead, so you are giving 1 BP already, and you need to bring them back with Pyrrhic, whatever you want, activated. You are not going to do nothing till next round. Maybe the game is over when it comes back.
I feel like Balon needs the game to be more janky, in that, like, as the Greyjoy player, you need to kind of send something in early in a turn to deliberately try and get it killed, and then kind of like do all this weird shenanigans and don't play the tactics board, which is just not how the game is played by most people. And then afterwards, you go at the end of the round, right? You've like killed that unit, you've half killed 2 more units because I've been janking around, and now I get to bail on and bring that unit back on, and your opponent's like, but I'm so far up, like, like what? I'm not losing the game because you brought this unit back on, because you've lost a unit and like probably 2 halves of other units as well. Right.
You cannot. It's range. You cannot take an objective. You cannot do anything. I mean, you can bring back maybe Victarion with Relentless if you have not used Relentless.
Yeah.
That's the only possible play, but not worth it. 5 points for that.
No.
And the great Mokorro, the least in play MCU, and 5 points again with another situational ability, and twice per game. Look at the top of the card, which is okay. I've been playing him in negative elo event, and I feel terrible when I play with him. I mean, I always look at the top card of the opponent deck because I think that's the best. The best. I mean, looking at your cards, it's fine, but if you have the info of your opponent card, I think it's better.
Yeah.
And then you can choose to shuffle or not, but you are not. Maybe you are delaying a good card, but that's it. And you need to claim the zone to do the ability. On top of that. And then if you want to take bring back an attachment, you need to take and replace the zone. So you are losing again tempo to get back an attachment, which I don't think it's gonna make you win the game. Losing that zone to change that.
The only attachment in my eyes that Mokorro's even remotely worth considering bringing back, I think Asher potentially could be an attachment you want to win back. But if you've lost Asher, things aren't looking good. And the only other one worth bringing back is Victarion, as we say, because bringing back Relentless is just good.
Yeah.
And like, it's not that good. Like, it's good. It's not that good.
You can do the triple meme Bailon, Mokorro, Jacken to bring back 3 Victarions and do the meme, but it's not gonna happen in a competitive game.
No.
I can tell you. But it's fun. You can try it. I did once and it was great to have 3 Victarions with Relentless. I feel like an iWatch player, looking good.
That's awesome. All right then. So obviously options there.
Yeah, that's 13 points on CUs. Normally it's 13, 12 points on NCU, plus the other 18, that's 30, 31 points. And those 9 points is just, you can bring Flameman plus Asha Attachment. You can bring another 5-point unit, normally Trappers with Asha, which is a really good unit. And another unit of Bowman. Or you can bring, I mean, that's 9-point flex points that you can invest to get a good value. Or you can go for activations or some punch with Flamen, the beloved Flamen that we all love with our hearts.
When we really, really hope continue to be in the game forever.
I mean, I'm one of the people that thinks that they should not be nerfed.
I actually don't think they should be nerfed myself either.
I think we should have 8-point units should be doing what Flamen does.
Yeah, you should be killing.
The problem is the problem is with the other units that they don't do their weight. They don't do enough damage or they don't do enough for the point cost. But I think 8-point units like Cavalry should do like that.
I think the flip side as well is that if you have Glass Cannon 8-point units, like I say Glass Cannon, but like Dothraki Veterans, for example, and I know this happened recently to me, which is not an excuse for this reasoning, but like 8-point units that are expensive that aren't defensive are almost unviable outside of Dothraki Veterans because of their ridiculous engagement range. because they just lose to anything that hits hard, such as Flayed Men. And you're just like, oh, well, your 8-point unit killed my 8-point unit, and now it's game over. Right?
Yep. But with veterans, you normally need Jora.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jora's...
That's like pseudo 11 points.
Yeah.
To have a reliable killing blow with double shoot or charge shoot. I shoot charge. I mean, and that's the way you balance. And they are 5+ armor, 5+ morale, right? So they are squishy, really squishy.
It's and some people in chat saying like how Flame Men shouldn't necessarily be nerfed. But maybe reducing neutral allowance, which we've entertained the idea of, discussed it before as a potential solution. Just because the eternal problem is not that Flayed Men are necessarily that good, and we don't want to hurt neutrals any more than they're already hurting. But the problem is they're too common, and just at the rate that we see them, I mean, people can argue if that's a good or bad thing, but like, plus, I mean, I'm also moving into the perspective now where I view Greyjoys very similarly to I view Free Folk, actually. In that, for a long, long time, we had giants in the starter box, but basically it was choose your infantry. That was your list building. We see exactly the same thing here with Greyjoys. The only difference is you can dip into neutrals. And I think that side of it is fine, but I think it's getting a little bit tired. I think that they need something that isn't infantry, basically. And I don't think Drowned Men is coming in as solo infantry is the solution.
No, I have to admit that I didn't read the books. Please, Marwin, don't kill me. But I don't know if they have a cavalry unit or something different. I don't know. I really don't know. It would be great to see something different for Greyjoys, but if they are an infantry faction, which I think they are meant to be, maybe sometimes we speak in Pike channel, like an axe thrower unit, something that has mobility, that can shoot and charge, give you some punch, glass cannon, like you said. Something that gives you some mobility, because right now, the big weaknesses of Greyjoy are attack dice and cavalry. More or less, there's and of course morale. But I take that because you are supposed to have a weakness, but you need to give me something to play with that.
Yeah, the morale is... You can argue that the morale weakness is kind of offset by the healing in the game, in that if you're only taking morale damage, that will never straight up kill you, so you can always kind of like then use your cards to heal back up. Like that if you're just taking like red cloak tests, there's ways to recover from that kind of thing. You can't recover from morale burst, and you certainly can't recover from morale burst off the back of a big attack. There's too many is good, but there's too many against Greyjoys is very good. Yeah.
There's too many is broken.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So yeah.
That's like 31 points of list building, and then you have my two tournament lists that every people have talked about them. They are 9 activations Asha. 8 or 9 activations Euron. I think Asha needs to be played in a competitive level because you need the morale bubble, like Freefall does with Mans, but we don't have that insane cards. That's the price you have to pay, the iron price. And with Euron, I love the attachment. So this card, it's a great ability if you can make them fail the moral check. Now it's not unique because they added to a Dervish Captain, Martel Dervish Captain. I don't know why they did that. And his cards are good. Can employ is amazing. Mind games is so-so. Sometimes you discard it, and sometimes you use it for Devious Methods, which is a really fun card, and you can steal opponents' cards. That's how we can get free fall riders if you steal Eldest Horde. And yeah, that's why I think Asha and Euron are my choice for competitive level right now. I know people love Baylor.
Oh, yeah, people do love Baylor. He's alright.
I think Baylor, Baylor is good, really good. He has amazing cards. His attachment is really good.
Yeah.
But he does not give me the tools to compete against other factions, big dogs like Free Folk or Nightwatch, that Euron and Asha are giving to me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not playing him that much, or it's not one of my favorite choice.
I feel that Baylor, if anything, makes the game almost more of a stat game, in that, like he says, my stats of my stuff are now better, and therefore I might win. And it's like Night's Watch kind of just go, yeah, but our stats are still better than yours. Like, we're just better than you overall, so we'll just kill you. And Free Folk are like, we don't really care what things stats are. That's not how we work, because we're so used to having to kill champions of the stag all the time. Your stats can be infinitely better, but they're still not good enough.
One second, I need to get the charger because my mobile is going to die.
That's fine. That's fine. So there you go. There's Mikel's thoughts on list building with Greyjoys. Which hopefully, for players who haven't played a lot of Greyjoy, it gives you an idea of how he plays them and how he thinks about them. People in chat, I know Ilya saying disagree. This is about cav movement. Yeah, cav movement with a creative ability like a pseudo swift reposition as an order. There is one thing which I think is, and this is actually kind of, we talk about it sometimes with problematic design, right? And one of the problematic designs we see, and Mikel will kill me for this, but I think a problematic design piece at the moment is Wendermere. And I know that sounds very controversial, but it's almost like, it feels like they don't want to give you extra movement tools because you've got Wendermere. And I relying on Wendermere.
That's why I think Wendermere is the backbone of Greyjoy, because if you are running an infantry-based faction and you don't have movement tools like an employ Wendermere shift, what am I going to do? I don't have the armor to hold you like Baratheons. I don't have the speed like Martells. I'm moving 5 speed, which is average, and I'm not good at taking charges. I mean, and I don't hit that hard. I mean, I don't have. I'm not the best at anything.
Yeah.
So that's why you need something to give me more tools to play against those factions, or play against relay factions, to play against chariots, to play against cavalry. That's why I think Wendermere it's a must, 100%. It's not even a discussion. I mean, everybody who has played the Greyjoys and start to realize how good Wendermere is, you are never going back to play another NCU.
No, he is absolutely nuts. Yeah, cool. So thank you very much for your insights there, Mikel. So that was handy, right? Not just for myself, but hopefully other players out there found it handy as well. Think about how you think about the deck, think about the units in relation to the deck, calling out some important cards as well. Now, yeah?
Do you want to talk a little bit about the deck?
You can do if you want. If there's anything else you want to say about the deck, apart from you're not allowed to say that, where is it? That Blessed with Steel, Best with Stone is mostly shit. You have to say this is a bad card without saying that this is a bad card. Because
let's say it's a situational card.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
It's normally it's used to remove a weakened token or something like that to make the charge, because You need to engage. You need to do the opponent to have less ranks, and it's like when they show the free fall deck in Visions, Flame of Visions.
Yes, yeah.
Like you have so many conditions. If that at the end of the day you are not getting even one.
Yeah.
And that card feels like death in your hand.
It
Not
is
totally useless, but you need to get the zone. You need to get the zone. You need to get the other zone. You need to be engaged. You need to be your opponent. Your opponent unit lose ranks. I mean, it's so many if that you are not getting anything.
I think it's
a bad card.
It's genuinely the worst card in the Greyjoy deck, in my opinion. But I mean, the way I view it is what you say. It's I remove a token. That's what it does.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a removing token. Item price, it's You need to have pillage. That's the first condition. If you are not playing with a pillage unit, that's a dead card.
Yep.
You are using a resource to get something, but I don't think paying a pillage. I mean, +1 movement and reroll charge, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But the other two are okay. And you are paying a resource to get that. So it's like you have in many factions cards that give you something without anything, and then if you get something, you get more about that. But in this card, you are just paying pillage and getting something.
Do you think this card would be better along with some of the other pillage cards, because there's a very unique ability that Eric brings, one of Eric's cards, and we haven't talked about him as a commander because he's not good, but one of the cards he brings says that you count as keeping, like for the attack, you count as keeping the pillage token, right? So you can spend one, but it doesn't really get spent, kind of. Which allows you to refresh it. Do you think that the iron price should be similar in that you spend the tokens, but it would allow you to pretend to keep one or two? You know, if you spend 2, pretend you have 1. If you spend, or your unit counts as having 1 pillage token this turn, or something like that. So you reduce your effects a little bit, but yeah.
Maybe if you are a Greyjoy unit, maybe let's put that restriction.
Yeah.
Because I think they want you to play with Greyjoy units, which it's okay. They don't want you to abuse neutral units.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to give me something. And we haven't talked about that, but the triggers are also quite bad.
Yeah, I mean, iron price, start
not for
turn.
maybe the iron price, but yeah, when the unit activates, start of turns.
There is a massive problem with iron price, right? In that because of the trigger being start of turn, it's very what do you call it? Where you're basically saying what you're going to do for the turn, right? It's very telegraphed.
Yeah.
And that's too easy to kind of counter. Ilya says it should give 1 bonus for free. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Spend 1 pillage token.
I think that would be enough. That would be enough because maybe you can heal, but maybe it's too much because maybe you could heal 6.
Maybe
you can only take twice. You can take twice the healing and anything else.
Maybe you can just only
having the
pick 2.
The highest attack value. I mean, who uses that? I think I never use iron price to get the highest attack value.
I used it once with a unit of iron makers, I think, because it's worth, like, you heal 2, but you're on like 3 wounds. You heal 2, and it's like, actually, I really want to hit with 7 dice because I will beat my opponent if I do that. That's kind of about the only situation it's worth it, and I really do think that if you're basically nearly dead with a unit that you think you're going to trade off and kill, that's about the only time.
Maybe at the highest attack value and reroll. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be rerolls. Yeah.
I'm just saying because you don't have a reroll card in your whole deck.
Outside of Kraken's Wrath, which is not.
Which is
You don't use it for the reroll.
no.
No.
I mean, you use it for precision and tokens, and again, you have so many. If you don't, that card gives nothing if you have no zones. And that's a problem because
I do think this is actually quite a good card, though. Like, I actually do think the effects are quite good. It just needs a little bit more help. Maybe he's making it easier to get the conditions.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the design to punish the opponent if they take your zones, but you need something else. Like, I don't know.
I tell you what, this is gonna suffer into, and this isn't the only card. There are other cards like it, but this is just going to be shit in a Martel meta. Like, this is the problem. This card does literally nothing if your opponent ever controls the Water Gardens, which is
you
crap.
have Water Gardens. Good luck.
Yeah. So yeah, that sucks. But I like Kraken's Wrath. I think it's a good card outside.
No, because if the opponent controls that zone, you still get that, right?
No, because they count. You don't any abilities or tactics cards. You don't count as controlling any zones for your cards.
But your opponent controls.
Maybe. Yeah, if they controlled swords, maybe.
Yeah, it's like Numeria, right?
Yeah.
Because it says the opponent or you.
Yeah. Maybe. But then if you've taken swords and they just follow up with Water Gardens, it's like, oh, sadness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And you don't get anything.
No.
Well, Finger Dance, we talk about that.
Yeah.
What is that May Never Die? Which is oh my god, what a card.
It's okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's okay, but it's not the trump card. You need to win the game.
Well, I'll ask you this question.
People always complain about what is dead may never die. What is dead may die if you have to take a panic check, if you get double tapped, if you fail your D3 or you have something like that, one wound and then you suffer one wound with stubborn tenacity. I mean, there are you can get counter-plotted. Flamen has no secrets. You can be with rising temperatures and not be able to use. You can be Davos. You can be used Davos. You can use Winter is Coming. I have said so many things that counters what is the may never die. And if that's supposed to be our best card, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
but I don't feel that card is making me win games.
The number of times where I've seen players have to play What Is Dead May Never Die, then immediately have to play the second one in their hand because the unit just immediately dies anyway. It's countered by Barrows and Selmy and Rising Temperatures, of course. We talk about that. Any target ability. The big one, and I have seen this, and this is a meme. This is 100% a meme. But with Asher Commander, you get Stubborn Tenacity. And I have seen Asher get killed. What Is Dead May Never Die, roll a D3, 1 health. Right? Pass the 5-up morale check, happy days. Your opponent's like, god damn it. Your opponent takes a wound, and they have go down fighting, and it kills the last model of a rank, meaning that they do a wound to Asher's unit, and Asher still dies. I've seen that happen, and it's just kind of like, this is fucking stupid. So yeah.
That's it.
That is real memes.
That's all of them, I think.
Yeah. We do not so fine, right?
We do not so I think it's our best card.
Yeah, probably. Just for Bowman, right? Because the opening rounds with Bowman.
It's a free attack, even long range. So, and on top of that, it gives you the free attack, and that card it's doing what we are saying. If the opponent has backs, you can heal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the cherry on top, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's good.
Mm-hmm. It gives you something.
And free attack. It's always a free attack.
Yeah, free free attacks are good, especially with Ironborn Bowman in flanks with finger dance. All the happiness. All right then. So, long story short, throw with Blesser's Stone, Blesser's Steel, throw the Iron Price, keep what is dead, keep We Do Not Sow, or just play it. Kraken's Wrath, keep. Finger Dance, just get it out your hand, play it. And Raiding Call, great useful card at some point.
Oh, Raiding Call.
Yeah.
Which is
Pillage Generation card.
What's the free for card? Yeah.
Regroup and Reform.
Regroup and but discount regroup and reform, in my opinion.
I don't know why Raiding Call doesn't let you allow to move attachments. I think it just should.
I mean, it's okay to not do that, but maybe give me, I don't know. I'm demanding so many things, but you need to be a Greyjoy unit. You need to be a Greyjoy unit. It's when the unit activates. It's not start of rally turn. Why it's not start of rally turn? You can only do it with infantry.
Yeah.
And you have to remove the same number of wounds on to change on those units.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a pillage if you have or your opponent controls back, which is okay, but it's not gonna make a difference at the end of the day. No. And it's a dead card if you have in your hand. You can only use that to get pillage.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those. It's definitely one of those cards which I think is lives or dies on how good pillage is, and because pillage isn't that good at the moment, it just isn't that useful a card. So, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Greyjoy deck is bottom tier, mid-bottom tier.
There's nothing in there that really brings you back in. If you're losing,
no,
you just kind of lose. But yeah.
Yep. And if you're winning, nothing. I mean, if you are winning, right? But you don't have any comeback mechanic like other factions has. You don't have a great card to break some walls or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you just need to be doing cheap damage and try to kill specific units and play the mission games.
Mm-hmm.
Because tabling your opponent with Greyjoy, it's quite hard, in my opinion.
Yeah, it certainly can be. That's why I like Reapers, because Reapers can just walk into things and maybe they'll kill something and it'll be hilarious.
Good luck without Sundering and 5+ morale, or 5+ armor, 6+ morale.
Just put a panic token on it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
No. All right then.
Yeah.
Cool. That was a
with
the
auto wound, vicious, double pillage. Maybe that's 12 wounds if you are really lucky.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Carl in Reapers, pay for the 2-point variant of them to make them morale 4, because why not? Now you're an 8-point unit.
8-point units. Yeah. Let's go.
And if they pass their morale test, they just won't die. Oh well. All right then. So, the next thing we'll move on to. So that's as Greyjoys, obviously. The next thing I thought we'd move on to is kind of effectively why you're here. Actually, the main reason why you're here, which is your kind of baby, the thing that you've been working on since kind of like late last year. Was it around like September, October last year, where you kind of got the idea? And I know that you were talking to us about it in France and stuff as well later on. But it is the team tournament. Now, this is going ahead at the end of the month. So in 20 days from now, roughly speaking. We are going to see teams come down and play an event in Zaragoza. In 4-player teams, and just kind of like absolutely going for it. You've got tons of people on board, which I was well impressed by, in terms of like shops and stuff like that. which is fantastic. So go on. I mean, first of all, what was your thinking behind it? And then kind of tell me where we're at. Like, how many teams have you got signed up, like, roughly speaking? Or interest have you got? Where are we at there? Just how are things looking? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, it's amazing that people, Spanish people, is responding to this tournament, because right now we are in a game state that it's really stalled. The meta is discovered. Nothing new happens. I mean, martels, but martels are not released yet in Spain, nor in UK, I think.
Yeah, no, we haven't got them either.
And we don't have either the new hero boxes, Baratheon boxes, and Targaryens.
You also
So nothing new. Happening
you also
like
don't have
5-6 months.
Varamir, right?
Right. Not like you.
Which is good news, right? That's actually good news, because Varamir.
Yeah, it's good news. Good news because, well, we will talk about it later, but we make like you did in LGT. We want to support the Spanish stores and shops and community. So we do not allow to play with the new releases that are not in Spain, and it's Varamir, Martels, Baratheon Hero Box 3 and 4, Targaryen Hero Box 3, and Baratheon Pikemen, High Garden Pikemen. I think that's the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have not been. I think the new release wave, it's coming in February. So yeah, we are waiting if something get released, but we have the date that list start closing on 15, the 15th of January.
So what, like a week?
So I don't think we will see that.
No.
And we are 1 week away. So
yeah.
And the patch, of course. We were waiting on first of all the patch. I was too optimistic.
Yeah.
I bet with Carlo that the patch will be here before the tournament, but I'm going to lose the bet. So I have to pay him a dinner or lunch. I think it was. He will remember.
Oh, he will. He will.
So yeah, we at the moment we have 15 teams. So that's 60 people. That's the biggest tournament we have been we have in Spain till now. So it's amazing. We have one French team, Le Baraceo team. Cheers for them, and we are really happy for them to come. I wanted more people coming, like your team, like UK teams or Italian teams. But I can understand that the state of the game, there maybe not enough time to people to plan the trip. Adult issues. Everybody have to work and so on.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I can understand that. But at least we have we have 15 teams. We are trying to find one more. Because we don't want people to get a buy and not play, which would be we will do anything to not let people come to Zaragoza and stay one round looking their faces.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. So it's now we have 60 players. They will have to join the ASOIAF Stat page with the team name, but ASOIAF Stat does not have the team tournament tool. So we will put the individual matches there, and we will have like an extra Excel document to put the results and the rankings from teams.
Okay.
We will be using like we will be using Warhammer Fantasy 40K scoring and point system, which will have a low floor on 30 points and top sailing at 66. You can, I think it's explained there. If you draw, we will not be counting the points on table. It's a draw. So you get 10 points and your opponent gets 10. And every difference on BP, it will be 12-8, 14-6, 16-4, 18-2, and 20-0 if you got 5 or more.
Okay.
And we will count those points, but you can only win 66 at max. And if you have less, you will win 30 points. We will have those points on our tables to do a tiebreak if it's necessary.
Right. Okay.
So that allows people to, if you get for crashing losses, you will not get 0 points, and that maybe make people to try to come back. That's why we want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the most used scoring system in team tournaments. I'm not an expert in team tournaments. That's gonna be my first team tournament. And people that has played a lot of team tournament recommend us to do that. So we will be using that.
Okay.
And we will be playing in a nice camping, which has held 40k events with more than 300 people. So we have enough room for everyone.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We have heaters. Everything is prepared. We have the tables. We will be playing the day before an ELO tournament event, a casual ELO tournament, to people just get started and enjoy themselves. And the next 2 days we will play in 4 rounds, 3 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday morning.
Okay, so just go for
I mean, we will have enough time. Yeah, we will have enough time. So we have make 3-hour rounds.
Ooh.
So we have 2 hours playing. We have pairings. We have results scoring, and we have like an extra time to float between rounds if we need something sold up or something like that. Mm-hmm. And we will have four referees. One of them will be me. I'm not going to play because I wanted to organize the tournament, and I think if you play and organize, it's really hard, and even more in team tournaments.
Yes, yeah.
So I will be one of the tournament organizers, and that's it. We have a Google Drive with some documents. We have a special list building. Mm-hmm. And do you have any questions? You cannot repeat factions. You cannot play Baratheon, Lannister, Stark. You have to be everything has to be unique factions for player teams. And you want to ask me something? I've been talking a lot.
The big one there was I got it highlighted on the document here. Neutrals only appearing in one player's list, right? So if you take, say me and you are on a team together, you take Jaqen in one of your lists, Jaqen can't appear in any of my lists or any of our other teammates' lists, which is interesting. Of course, that means that we're not going to see copious amounts of Baelish mostly. Baelish is going to be one of in a list, 4 lists or 8 lists even. Wow. Yeah,
we did that to show we want the people to make the list together. It's a team tournament, and we don't want give me 2 lists, you give me 2 lists, and then let's put all together and go to the tournament. Yeah. We want people to talk about the list. I want to use Baelish. Okay, me too. Who gets the most out of Baelish? I think it's you. Okay, so I will take another and see you. Mm-hmm. And the same for neutral units. We have a cap of 2 units.
Okay.
Maximum of 2, like a 2 unit max pool. And if you use one of them in one list, the rest of the team only can use one more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Wow.
that's if Lannister player wants to play Flamen in one list, the other 3 members of the team, if you are not neutral or free folk, of course, you can only play 1 more Flamen in your list. Or maybe you can play 2 Flamen in one list, but you are not allowed to play more Flamen. Same with all neutral. That changed we didn't do that to balance the game.
Mhm.
We just wanted to add some spicy flavor to list building and to make some list unique and not see the same list again and again. Not having Baramir I think it's good for
Yes.
free for players
Yeah, I was going to
because
say.
they are not without Baramir. Yeah, without
It's
Baramir, I think people are still the best in my
Yeah.
opinion, but it's not so far ahead. So maybe you can handle that, and maybe we will not see every team bring in free folk or free fall against free fall, because if you give me the free fall card, I give you my free folk. So free folk clashing, and nobody's gonna play free folk. I have my free folk to counter your free folk, and I don't think that's a healthy space for free fall players. And we
No.
want free fall to come and play.
I mean, I'm a big fan of, as people hadn't guessed, I'm a big fan of playing mirrors in general. I really like playing mirrors. Free folk versus free folk, I enjoy. I've enjoyed playing Martel versus Martel, but Baratheon versus Baratheon. I enjoy playing mirrors. I think mirrors are fun. I know a lot of people don't necessarily think that, but you shouldn't have a tournament which is just full of mirrors, right? Like, that is a terrible experience for anybody. So yeah, you want people mixing up, and you said it there. Without Varamir, Mance is without Baratheon. Mance is better. No, without Varamir, Mance is still the best, but significantly less so. I think Night's Watch have got some options into a 9 activation Mance list. I think that Targaryen Drogo has a lot better chances against a 9 activation Mance than it does against a 10.
Yeah.
I think that even to some extent, like Champions of the Stag Baratheon style lists have something more into that Mance list because you don't get ganged up on as much. Still not favourable by any stretches, but at least there's games in those.
No. But it's more manageable,
Yeah.
really much.
And
that extra activation changed so much.
Yeah, it really does. It makes such a big difference. Even Greyjoys, as much as Greyjoys are not good, I think Greyjoys have options into a 9 activation Mance list. It's not completely shit from minute 1.
You have to rely on Bowman and try to get some kills and play the game around that. But I mean, and but we didn't do that for balance.
No.
Again, I'm going to say this a lot, but because we don't want to change the game, we can play a casual game, negative elo tournaments, but we want people to come and play. This is not like a super competitive tournament. We have a lot. And we want new people to come and see that we have a really good community in Spain. We really have a lot of people playing, but it's hard to join and to come to the tournament. But even though we have 60 people, which I think it's a great number, and I mean, it's gonna be for some people, which is competitive, good, because it's a team tournament. You can have maybe 2 people that are new to the hobby, and maybe 2 people which are more experienced, and you can play with that, and maybe you can get first rank in with those 2 people, and everyone can enjoy the tournament. Because if you are an experienced player, you will try this kind of format, which I think it adds and it's different and it's something fresh and keeps the game alive. And with the list building restrictions between commas, makes even for experienced player more interesting to list building and think about this. Okay, I want to use Bolton Bastard Girls. Okay, me too. Okay, so we no more Bolton Bastard Girls. I want to play neutrals, for example. We want people to play neutrals, so you have no restriction at all. And I think that's a good part of these rules because nobody plays neutrals.
Yeah.
For me, neutrals are a faction. Sorry. Hashtag neutrals are a faction. But yeah. And we also put the rule, I didn't mention, that you cannot play double commander.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's generally just.
I think that's good.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Because we don't see double Drogo, double Jon, double Mans. We want variety. We want to see. Well, I mean, not 120, but at least 60 commanders.
Yeah.
No, I did them math wrong. I mean, you understand me. It's like we don't want to people Jon, Drogo, Mans. If we allow Martels, probably will be Uller. So I think that's another level of list building.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before, and I know that Carlo ribs me for it, but I do genuinely believe you should take two different commanders to a tournament. It's different, I don't necessarily believe that you should have to play them both, because, there are... I've not experienced it myself, but I know some people have gone to tournaments and they've played like the same faction 3 games in a row. And it's like, that's unlucky, first of all. But also, why would you if you've taken 2 commanders, like, this is my good into Lannister faction, say, and then you play 3 Lannisters in a row, and it's like, now I have to play my faction, like, you're saying I have to play this list which isn't good into Lannisters in my last game. Like, no. Play the one that's better into Lannisters, that's why you brought it. Now, obviously, it's never quite as simple as that, and you never play the same faction 3 or 4 times in a day. That just doesn't really happen that often. It can, but it just doesn't. But yeah, I'm a big fan of basically forcing people to have to bring 2, and then if they only play 1, so be it. That you can't stop them only playing 1. But at least they're then, you're forcing them into this kind of situation where it's like, well, if you have got a second list, if you never play it, I know which one you're picking first of all, and I can just pick the best list I have into whatever you've got, which is a thing, right? As much as that's a problem with certain commanders in the game, but yeah, I think it's a good thing myself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what do we? Yeah, and. We want, this is the first team tournament. If I wanted to say as well, if someone wants to try this kind of tournament and they need the files or they want to ask how we did or how we make this, because we also have a card pairing system.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Captain card pairing. So you have 4 cards. We will give you them every captain. 4 cards with their team member and faction, and it will be like you give me 1 card, I give you, okay, that card will go with these 2. You have to look at them, and then you have to choose. Okay, I will choose this, and then the other captain will give you 1 card, and the other will put you 2 cards selected, and then the other captain will have to choose 1 opponent for that opponent, and so on forth.
We're gonna run through this.
Makes also.
Yeah, just so we get this right, because so people, I'm gonna pick up some paint pots because that makes sense because I happen to have paint pots here. Right. So for argument's sake, let's go for greens versus reds because that's what I happen to have handy.
Yeah.
I am going to give you. So I'm team 1. I pick up my light green. There we go. Hey, and then you as the other team would pick up, say, 2, and you would pick right, and then I would say which one of these 2 I want my green to face. Is that right?
Yeah. So it's, for example, you are the captain of your team.
Yep.
And you give me without knowing in secret, maybe your Lannister card, A
Right.
card, let's say A
Lannisters.
card.
Yep. There's my Lannisters.
Okay, and I give you one card in secret.
Okay.
I give you, for example, my B card.
Yeah.
So we both give each other without knowing each card.
Okay.
Okay. So now the team one, your team, has to give me in secret 2 cards to play against the card you give it to me.
Right. Okay, so.
Okay, so the card I gave to you, you have to put 2 of your cards to be their opponents.
Right. Okay, so basically you're saying we'll just give them faction names for now, but you put forward your Lannisters. I don't know that it's your Lannisters, but you put forward your Lannisters. Then I would say you can either play against my Starks or my Lannisters, and you would pick one of those at random.
So that's it.
Right.
We will when you give me those 2 cards with paired with that card, you will do the same to me. I will give you 1 card, and you will put 2 of your opponent, your teams to play against that card, and then we will reveal that.
Okay.
We will reveal those cards, and you have to pair in secret your 2 cards. Well, I mean, I have the example right here. I don't know if I'm explaining it right well. Are you in the Discord? I think you are in the Discord.
I'm
right?
in the Discord. Yeah. Is it in the Is it in the bases?
It's tournament info.
Tournament info. Hang on. Where's that second?
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. I know I'm not explaining it that well, but I mean it's explained right here.
List building, inscription. Right. Okay, cool. So, captain pairing system. Right. Okay. You've written it out here. That makes more sense. Yeah. So, you've given A, B, C, and D, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Mate, good idea. I like numbers and things. Numbers versus letters. So, team 1 picks A, and team 2 picks 1. You got A and 1, and you then both pick 2 cards, and I then hang on, I'm just trying to get my head around that last bit. So we both pick a card. Wow, this is I'm not doing well here.
It's harder than it looks.
Yeah. So you both pick a card and offer it to the other player, and then is it kept secret or is it revealed?
It's revealed when they.
This is why we have visitors on here.
No, they are revealed. They are revealed when you give the card.
Cool. So straight away, like we pick 2 cards, and they're both revealed. So there's an open piece of information. Then, so I would see you've picked your Lannisters, we've picked our Night's Watch, and then I would give you we're playing against Lannisters.
That's it. You have to choose 2 of your teams.
Yes.
To maybe get paired with that.
So I would say, it's Lannisters that they might get paired with. So I'll pick, say, I don't know, Baratheons and Martells. No, Martell's on it. Baratheons and Neutrals. So I know my Baratheon or Neutral player is going to be paired with your Lannister. And then you would do the same. You would know your Night's Watch or Free Folk was paired up against my Night's Watch. Right, that makes sense. And then you pair the remaining ones as well. And then the last one gets paired with the other one of the other bit. Right, cool. Okay, that makes sense.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard. We will explain again to the captains at the beginning of the tournament because we know it's tricky. But yeah, I mean that's a way. That's how the team tournament players do the pairings. Mm-hmm. This it's kind of different and it's fresh, but it loses a little bit of strategy because here in Game of Thrones we play with 2 lists, right?
Yes.
So It's not like okay, I'm pairing with Lannister against Baratheon. Okay, nice, I have an edge. Well, I mean, you have two lists. You can pick the list what you want to play against Baratheon, right? But at the end of the day, it's just like to add something else.
Mm-hmm.
Because double list can cover almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you should make the list to play against everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah, it allows you to kind of tech a little bit without neutrals, because you can kind of always go, right, I'll take a favoured matchup, but you can't go full in, I just have a counter Baratheon and a counter Lannister, and that's all I'm going to play. Because that won't be true. Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. I mean, it's more or less protecting against a weakness, isn't it, rather than definitely giving it a strength.
Yeah, it's not like sword shield style, right? Because you have to list, and sword and shields makes no sense with two list format.
No, it doesn't. All right, okay, so that makes sense. I definitely think for your own benefit, if you can give me the benefit of the doubt on this one, definitely create a nice like step-by-step guide. I know that one on the Discord was there, but I think if people get used to it, I think after round 1, I think it'll be fine. I don't imagine anyone will have any issues.
No,
yeah,
we can help. But we will help at the beginning of the tournament for sure to every captain, so you get it right for the second round.
Your 15 teams, 3 TOs. So I mean, you're looking after 4 to 5 teams per group, right? Because you're going to have, let's assume 16 teams, there's 8 matchups, meaning that you're looking after like 3 teams or 3 pairings at most, and you can overlook 2 to 3 pairings as a TO if need be on that round 1. So yeah, like that makes sense. And yeah,
and we have like 20 minutes scheduled for pairing, so we have enough time to even go one by one, or just two against 2, and then the other captain. So we have plenty of time, so the time will not be an issue, and that's 120 minutes of game. And we have even extra time if something wrong happens or whatever we need the time. So the time will not be an issue here.
That's good.
No, we are not going to play with clocks as well.
Yeah,
I didn't say that.
Yeah, it feels like you've gone for a strategy, if you will, or a game strategy where it's like play a game, and when the game ends, like you've got 2 hours, that should be enough time. Play the game. Hey, I don't know if you'll end up doing it, but you might have games where it's like it's round 6 and they've got like 5 minutes left, and you're like, sod it, just play till the end. If it takes you 10 minutes, just play the extra 5 minutes, because it's like it's not worth finishing early or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I think with 2 hours, I think it's plenty of time to finish the game, 100%. And we can give you 5-10 minutes. So this is not a high competitive tournament as I say. So we want everyone to enjoy the games, to finish the games, to try to be the best team. So that's why to refresh the game. I mean, the word is refresh because people like us that we have played so much and we are meta slaves, like I like to say. We love the competitive side of the game, so we end up right now. I'm not burnout, but I'm not motivated to that much to be playing like I did before, and there's nothing new that I can play around. I have played Martells, I have played against the new stuff, but it's not like I need the balance patch so much.
It's like I mean, in some regards, it's kind of like the way I've done it is I've started to go, like in my case, I've looked at Greyjoys predominantly, and I picked them up and I've gone, right, cool, I'm just going to play them because it's a different faction to my normal one, more palatable, but it's also just kind of like, I'm not going to say learn the faction, learn is probably incorrect, but I'm going to start putting myself in the mindset of thinking about why this faction works in the way it has. Unlike the faction I normally play, you know, I will think about the faction a lot, as you've done with Greyjoys, and you think about all kinds of things, and that's why, you know, you're pushing the boundaries on list building. You're thinking about how things work, to the point where, you know, you know everything about the faction. And you've thought about different scenarios and all this, and I wanted to do that with a different faction. But then again, like when it comes to playing casually, I'm just going to stick random jank on the board sometimes and just play random jank, because it's like, who cares if I win or lose at this point? I'd like to win, but at the end of the day, like, I enjoy playing Reapers, so I'm going to play Reapers. You know, if I lose,
Yep.
I don't care. I played Reapers. I enjoy them. You know, I know for a fact my list would be better without them, but who cares? And I think that's just, to some extent, and it sounds really bad, but it's a level of acceptance, right? We know what the balance is. We know where it stands. We know what is good and what is bad. The discovery, and that doesn't mean there is no discovery left. I think there is still discovery, certainly in factions lesser played and commanders lesser played. But you know you're not discovering, this is a good list. You know, you're playing Ramsey Greyjoys and you're like, right, okay, what's the best Ramsey Greyjoy list I can play? Not what's the best Greyjoy list, because it's not Ramsey. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I'm a big.
You try to
Yeah.
Yeah, you try to change things, to test junky things, which is fine. But if you play against the best things, you probably will lose, and we know that losing can be fun, but you're always trying to find the balance to maybe, okay, do not. I'm not going to play John, but you are not going to play Mans, for example. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Some kind of that games. It's like what people like, left competitive people is trying to find now. I mean.
Yeah, and I think
I
think there's a time and a place for two players picking up some of the best stuff in the game and pushing each other with it, and go, right, how broken or how powerful can we make this thing? Because that's how boundaries are pushed, right? But it's not. There's a time and place for that, and there's a time and place for going, right, let's not do that. So, yeah. All right then. We do have a submission, Mikel, for a certain part of the day, which you, I know that you are not as familiar with as perhaps some players out there, but it is time to look at some painted minis. I am not going to tell you who they're from, first of all, because if I tell you that, you'll be like 100%. You're going to change your ranking of them, if you will. But we have some Martells painted up. Okay.
Okay.
I'll throw them up on screen for you there. Zoom out a little bit so you can get a nice little image of them. There you go.
Okay.
There's some nice Martells. What are you thinking so far? How do you feel about these?
Okay, let me check. Not appearing right now. I have a bit of delay.
That's
okay,
fine.
now.
That's fine.
Okay. What? Oh my God, the plants. I love the plants.
The plants are great, aren't
but the base is like they are in that's like representing snow, right?
It's not meant to be snow, I believe.
It's like ashes?
No. Clarence Ariakas in chat there saying marble basing. It's meant to be like a marbled courtyard.
Okay. Okay. It's not like having the square things, you know, like marble, but.
Oh yeah, okay. You'd like
I
square marble rather than like polished like marble.
Yeah,
rock.
I mean, I'm used to see the marble in squares on in shapes, you know, not like this kind of uniform marble. That's why I didn't thought it was marble, but
That's fair enough.
yeah, they look nice.
Okay.
Nice color. That's orange with blue and gold. It's it's gold with they look nice.
So you know the question I'm probably going to ask at this point.
That's the rainbow. No, that's the Martel Pikeman, right?
The Sunspear Royal Guard, yeah. So
That's the Royal Guard.
Yeah. Fancy ones.
Yeah. Great unit. He's going to use a lot of that unit, so yeah, that's good.
So go
no,
on then.
I'm not.
Mikel, out of 10.
I have to say this, that I hate painting. I hate painting. I'm totally a painting hater. I'm sorry, but I despise the fact that I have to paint something to be played. I mean, I'm just a full hardcore player. Just
Nothing
focus on the gameplay, not on painting. Painting hobby is not for me. I don't have the patience to paint everything.
There is
I get frustrated so hard. No, I mean, but I have to say this because I don't know painting techniques. I was the second best painting army in France, but it was not mine. So it was painted. It was painted by Mark. Mark is a great painter, and he painted my Greyjoys, and I really love them. If you haven't seen them, you have seen them.
I've seen them. Yeah, they're really nice. They are really nice.
From 1 to 10, do you want me to rank?
You can go 0 to 10. It's your choice.
0 to 10. I'm not Carlos, so I'm not gonna say a solid 0. I will say 7, 7.5.
Wow, 7 to 7.5. Okay, I have to give them a solid 0 on behalf of Carlo, because nothing is ever appreciative around here.
That's the tradition, right? You cannot break it.
I do like the plants. I think the plants is cool. I do think the plants are cool. Now, Mikel, you might adjust your score if I tell you who painted these. Do you know who painted these?
No.
It's Brett. Brett finally put something up for painting. So, what would you rate them now that you know it's Brett?
We'll give them a 3.
Fair enough.
No, let's give him a 4.5 because I love the plants.
4.5 because you love the plants. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll absolutely love that.
Yeah, they are, like Lauren say, it's tactical plants. I love them.
Tactical plants.
That's a really nice touch.
Fantastic.
I think they are prepared for LBO, right? I don't know if he's going to play Martel. I think he wants to play Martels, but I'm not sure. But I think he's painting them for the LBO.
I don't know. I think I've spoken to him briefly about army lists and picks and things like that. I think he might be going for Martels, or I think he's umming and ahhing between 2 other factions as well. But if he manages to paint his whole army like this, like Martels for LVO, kudos, absolute kudos for that, because that's a hard task.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Brett. Yeah, you're gonna say?
He wanted me to score that. Now he will DM me saying me some bad things.
Probably he'll probably start with Greyjoys OP or something like that. All right then, fantastic. Well, Data says Brett painted them, then I rate them pretty good out of 10. We do have
pretty good.
Another couple of things. Now, we'll get on to future tournaments and stuff in a minute, where I got some stuff to announce. But definitely friend of Stats, Lucas got in contact with me earlier today, and he said they had a tournament this weekend, and they had 15 of the 17 players that were due to turn up show up. So which is fantastic, obviously, and they got Adam Lovell from Simon had sent them 12 unit boxes for prize support. And then they obviously had tokens and trophies and stuff, some made by Derek Sheets. If you don't know who Derek is, he's one of the guys really pushing the scene in that area. And then they had raffle tickets that they gave out, and the raffle tickets were kind of like what generated the prize support. So there was obviously trophies and stuff, but then like depending on where you got in the trophy and the raffle, depending on what kind of like where in the pecking order you would get for some of the other stuff. So, and if you lost, you actually got more more tickets, so you had like a higher chance of doing well in the raffle, meaning you got like an earlier pick, which I think is a really good idea. And yeah, I mean the stuff that they provide in terms of like trophies and stuff is fantastic. And yeah, they had loads of people traveling, from some people traveling up to 8 hours to their event down in Rocket City, and a load of that came from the banner on the front page of stats. For those of you who don't know, this one here, we can see the team tournament up there as we speak. But also we've had things like the Canadian thing we'll get onto in a minute. We've had LVO, obviously always Winter, Captain Connor up there at the moment. But this one here from Rocket City, and some people literally didn't know the event was on, saw the banner on the front page and signed up. And for them, he wanted to say thanks to us, and especially to Carlo, of course, for the site, to say that the community is literally growing because of what Carlo does, and I think that that's quite important. And their plan is to grow it for next time. They wanna see if they can try and double their numbers in the next kind of couple of events, which I think is going to be amazing. Yeah,
it is
proper amazing. Don't you just love hearing good news stories from around the world? The best part of the week.
I mean, yeah, I think this game community is one of the healthiest and best overall, because I've been talking with other game communities, and I don't think they are that that
close kind of thing.
What's the word?
Tight knit.
Yeah, that close, that friendly, that you are. Nobody. I have listened few stories that I had an argument with the people. I am playing with this guy, and this guy was shit. I haven't heard that much in many tournaments that I've been, and I think that creates a great community and a great game overall. So I think that's the best part of this game and this hobby.
Agreed. I agree. I think the song community is great, and yeah, I think it's really important for me. Like as much as why do I really care about an event in Rocket City? It's got nothing to do with me. I'm not there. I'm not playing. Why should I care, right? But like, I think it's completely the opposite. Like, I love finding out about the events that Luke runs. I love knowing that the event is growing and that he's getting more players, and it's yes, it's a photo taken at the end of an event, but like the number of people there who look just happy is just a good thing. like seeing that kind of stuff shared, I think is just so important.
Everybody got something, so that's good.
Yeah, and
those donuts, those donut box looks good.
Is that what you saw the donut box, and that's like I should have gone for the donuts.
yeah. I'm hungry. I'm really hungry right now.
Well, it's nearly over. We'll let you rush out for tea in a minute. But yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. Thank you very much to Luke for sending me that, because it makes me realise like why the community as a whole does its thing, and why people as a whole do their thing as well. And I think that that's great. And yeah, on that note, there is one event that we're going to talk about, which is obviously I did mention it briefly before. Whoops, not that one. Not the Spanish one we talked about before. This one here. It is the I can't find it now. Great Canadian Open. Ariakas, Clarence in chat. I know he's been here watching. He wants us to quickly show the prizes, and yet again, I mean, Mikel, you've been to quite a few events. You've got a mixture of different prize support and stuff. What do you think of the prize support we see at the Canadian Open here? We've got these lovely glasses slash kind of like what's the almost like tankard style glasses, and the plaques there as well. What do you feel about those? How do you feel about those?
Okay, let me
It's all right if there's a bit delayed. Don't worry, it should be up
delay.
pretty soon. I tried to make my intro really long. You see.
I'm seeing the Canadian flag right now. Okay, now. Okay. For the watch, winter is coming. They are great. We had not these are beer jars, right?
Yeah, kind of like beer steins. Kind
we had like a coffee cups for the Spanish national with the best player of the faction, and with Game of Thrones image. I think that's a great prize. And the Great Canadian Opening, best painted, second place, third place, and a champion. Yeah, that's nice, really nice. You can put them on the. I have here not they are covered by miniatures, but I have my trophies there, and I think having one of those is really nice because you always remember that you have played that event, and if you get first place or the best of your faction, you will have that. Not forever, but maybe if you don't break him or in a drunk contest, you will. I have really good feelings when I'm having my coffee in that cup. So yeah, I love this kind of prize.
Yeah,
I think it's different. It's not like having a medal, but if you have something that you can use or check or see sometime when you are there, yeah, I think it's really nice.
Yeah,
I like this kind of trophies.
I've said it before, but yeah, I'm a big fan of these kind of things as well. They're just nice. The quality looks great. They're nice to have around the house, and they're talking points as well, right? More so than anything else. And yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. The last thing that I'm going to mention on behalf of Clarence is again, weirdly, another positive for Adam Lovell, who Adam Lovell, in case you didn't know, he's in charge of organised play, among other things, now at CMON, and he's apparently got in contact with ASOIAF Clarence, got back to Clarence, and they are going to be providing support for the event in terms of prize support and other stuff. So it is really, positive on that end. It seems like the US is starting to get a lot of communication with the prize support from organised play, so we can only hope, I say the US but North America, we can only hope that transitions across to Europe, and I think it probably will in due course, which is positive. Let's see how it goes towards the next patch. Yeah,
next patch
our
dream.
So on that note, Mikel, and the last thing I'll ask you of today, the last precious thing that you get, if you were to be able to cross your fingers now, there's a shooting star going outside your window, there's one candle left on the birthday cake. If you could make one wish for the New Balance patch, and I'm not going to say make Mance balanced, because I think that's fairly fucking obvious at this point, but if you had one wish, what would it be for the next Balance patch?
One wish. I have a lot of ideas. I made a document with my balance suggestions, but I think balance a game is not that easy, and it's like small changes make huge difference. But I would like this balance to be, having to take account the time it's been since the last, it's almost a year, I think, right? I would like to see not a huge patch, but I would like to, not everything, but almost everything, just to get reviewed and tweak little tweaks that can help useless things to be played, and the strong things maybe you can leave them strong. But now we are talking about power creep and balance, and that can snowball. So I think it should be small changes, but I would like to see a lot of small changes, not very few like we had in the last balance. Because I think the game is in a great state, but I think we need to touch several things to get even better balance. And that means that maybe you need to address cards and not only stat units and maybe point cost, because I think that's not enough to balance the game. I don't want to change the game completely, but I think if you can touch, you need to touch a card or even I am on the side to make this game like 80 points or 100 points.
Yes.
Right? That will solve a lot of things. But if they don't want to change that, I can understand, because that's the way they have designed the game. But then you have to touch another thing. So I like that how the game it is. Just bring down what is unfair, unfair or really, 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 really strong, like Free Folk or some things like Relentless or Nightwatch Relentless. But in the other hand, I like this balance. But we need, if you don't touch that much, at least be honest and make maybe 6-month patches.
Yeah.
Don't let the game reach this state. We don't want a 3-month patch, but maybe 6-7-month patch, so people get refreshed, new players don't get overwhelmed with the changes, and experienced player get the feeling and excitement to play again. That's my wish.
That's good. I think that's fine. Yeah, absolutely great. There's your wish, right? Let's hope it comes to fruition in the next kind of couple of months. Hopefully.
Couple of months, you are waiting for the March or April?
I'm hoping before then, but I'm expecting June at this rate.
My God.
All right. Well, we'll quickly run through the events. We've got Chelmsford Bunker. My headphones are going mental, by the way, guys. It turns out that they are completely out of battery. So excuse me while I stand or sit very oddly. We've got Chelmsford Bunker ELO event happening this week, starting an ELO League. So that's fantastic. We'll keep our track of that. We've got an event happening in Germany, in Bergheim. That should be awesome as well. An event happening in Poland, in Lublin. Aha, Polska are back. Poland are back.
The Polish back.
Yeah, Polish are back. We've got an event happening in Poznan, Poland as well. We've got Duke's Gaming in Pontypool, the UK, kind of like the Welsh side of the country, having their first one-dayer in January. We've got the Clash of Members Season 2 happening in Chelmsford. This is happening Chelmsford this weekend as well. And we've also got another Polish event in Warsaw. Obviously the Great Canadian Open in Ontario, Canada. A Refuge Gaming have got their event over in Ohio, Brunswick, coming up this weekend as well. I really hope the Brunswick event goes well. I know some of the US guys are going to that, I think. I want to say that Bob is going along to the Refuge Gaming one, along with Stovetop and maybe Chris, but I'd have to double check. We've also got an LVO Primer in Sacramento, California, an event happening in Shanghai Fight Club, which is fantastic to see as well. Katowice in Poland, another event there. Myrtle Beach having one. Wow, Jesus, so many. And that's it for this week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 events happening this weekend, which is fantastic. Yeah. Loads of events.
LVO is next week, or no? The next one.
LVO's the same weekend as your team event, I think. So.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. I'm really excited to see how it was, because I think that's the the first competitive tournament with martels and everything which is new.
Mm-hmm.
So
If you
I'm
don't
expecting
count,
to see.
if you don't count the Canadian Open, but I think the Canadian Open's only like 20 people.
Oh yeah.
But LVO will be the
Sorry.
first be like 60 people I think they've got for LVO this year, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And they got I think Suavek is going, right?
He's not. He has to pull out. He runs his own business and unfortunately has a very busy month this week that's come up.
I wanted to see the clash between Europeans and Americans.
We'll do.
Unlucky. We will do. We will invite them. Let's see someone wants to come.
All
we
right,
have to challenge them.
We will. We have to go over European team versus US team. Let's do it.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Okay then. Thank you very much, Mikel, for joining us. It won't be the last time, no doubt.
Thank you.
It's lovely to talk to you anyway. And I think for a lot of people, putting a name, if they didn't know your face already, they get to put the name to the face now. And it is a beautiful face. So, there is that.
Now they're gonna snipe me better.
Yeah, that'll be what it is.
Don't take my elo, take my life.
Too hard to beat in game, so beat IRL. All right, well, thank you very much for turning up. I wish you all the best. Obviously, let us know how the event goes in the team tournament. Let us know how it all runs out. If there's anything you want to send me, or if you want to come back on after the event, just drop me a message because I think it'd be fantastic to find out how it all goes. And yeah, other than that, thank you very much for coming along, and thank you everyone else for watching tonight. We'll be back next week, probably. That's how this works. Everybody, I hope you have a great week. Enjoy the events if you are at one, and any games that you play. Take it easy, guys.
Ready? Aim!
There's too many!
Anyone see my mammoth?
Stubby!